Welcome to Mob Talk. Jason Harris guides our live weekly show with numerous automotive experts talking anything and everything automotive. Turn up the volume and let's get ready to rock.
What we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and kick off tonight's conversation with our first topic. Guys, please feel free to jump in. I want to get your guys' thoughts on this. But should a dealership use at-home test drives to sell cars? Why or why not? Brian, Marco, I know your dealerships are doing stuff. Brandon, I know you're doing some stuff too.
Yeah, I mean, I've been doing at-home test drives for a while. I was doing them earlier on before COVID hit and all that stuff. It's a lot of logistics. And it's a lot of time away from the dealership.
Yeah.
So if I can avoid them, I will. But if it's a specific client that needs it, then like I did it a week and a half ago on these really old people that they wanted me to see their trade-in, and I ended up going to their house, brought the car, swapped, disinfected everything twice before they go in and when they leave. The one thing that I would love to see is test drive centers. I think those would work out better, where you can just go into a building and have one of every car, and you get to test drive all of them without the pressure of a salesperson being there. And then you say, you know what, out of these three that we drove today, I picked that one. And then those people put you in touch with the salesperson at your closest store. I think that would work out a lot better than at-home test drives.
I think that's a good strategy.
You like that?
Yeah. Well, I mean, look. I think what it is as salespeople, what we're saying is that the at-home test drive puts a tremendous amount of stress on us operationally.
Yeah.
But on the flip side, I do have some other dealerships that are executing it and doing it really, really well. So, I know we got Brandon, Brian. Thanks for jumping in the conversation here. Are you guys currently doing this or offering this at your dealership as well?
Yeah, we've actually been doing at-home test drives since even before the pandemic at my store, and it's something that we integrated into our process. It's something we advertise. It's COVID has definitely added some extra difficulties and some extra steps to that process, but it's still a process that we're really big on. I mean, Nova Scotia is a far different area than anywhere in Ontario. So there's some different benefits and some different advantages to doing our at-home test drives here, and I can certainly see it being a lot easier for us to manage and to run efficiently. But for us, I mean, it's one of the reasons why I think that we do really, really well in our own market. It's something that a lot of other places we're not offering. There is still a lot of the old school, they won't even share prices until you come in and test drive the car kind of thing. And that's just, I think COVID has kind of curbed a lot of that, but the at-home test drive is still a big difference maker for a lot of customers in our area.
So now you're on the management side. So do you feel, from kind of a manager's perspective, is there just a lot more processes that have to be managed, and do you feel like there's ROI in that?
I think that one of the biggest thing here is ensuring that the sanitizing of vehicles before and after is done. One hand, to keep everyone safe, and then the other two is just even optically to let customers know that we are operating efficiently, that we have these steps in place to keep everyone protected. Because the times when the customers don't see that, and they automatically assume that you're not doing it. They don't give you the benefit of the doubt. And we've actually had a dealer too blown up where the customer was upset that they didn't see us sanitizing the vehicles, so they didn't think it was done. But it's something that we've been doing quite consistently. So we kind of had to kind of tweak the process to make sure we're doing it in front of the customer. It's almost kind of a show now. But from a management standpoint, the at-home test drive is really, I mean, the benefit of it with the substantial decrease in walk-in traffic. The at-home test drive is a lot easier to manage now. Basically, we just have our sales guys, taking that process on, where before we would have a lot of drivers and stuff kind of helping us out. Now it's just the sales guys doing it. It's more of almost a sales appointment at home now is really kind of what it's become. So it's converting really, really well. So
that's cool. And look, I think I'm leaning in your direction as well. I just know that there are definitely some different thoughts and opinions out there. Hey, Brian, I don't know if you're available to jump into the conversation. I'd love to know what you guys are doing out in sunny California.
Sunny California. Yeah. Jason, we're not really doing those, man.
No.
I mean, because we don't have that many salespeople, and because of where we're located, I mean, we're delivering cars, but the test drive stuff, it's not really happening. We're not really going anywhere. They're still coming to the dealership to test drive the vehicle.
Have you guys ever done that before?
I mean, they don't go and tell me. I mean, as a marketing manager, I'm always saying, hey, if you guys do anything outside, send me pictures, send me videos. I'm going to post that. And I'm rarely getting anything, but I'm not sure if they're test driving. I know to an extent, yeah, they're taking the vehicles. I mean, maybe to go around the block because of where we're located, which is, you're in between Los Angeles and Las Vegas. I think people just decide to come in because we kind of skew a little older, and they still want to, they want to put hands on the car.
Well, since you handle the marketing, I mean, when you first hear of the idea, the dealership was to come to you and say, "Hey, we're going to do these at-home test drives." The marketing side of my brain goes, "Oh, this is going to be a fun message. I can dig my teeth, and I can already see a Brian Level style video come out with like that." But
we did that last year. Remember? I don't know if you've seen it, where we did that kind of the take on the Geico, where the guy's working out, and then, every time
I do remember
back,
that. Yeah.
Yeah, so we did hey, let's take this test drive. We drove on location. We took a truck, and with a man and his son, and we were like, hey, here's the 2020 Tacoma, and then it would flip back, and then ultimately we had a DJ pumping his fist, and then we had a blimp in the sky, but we didn't have much come out from that. I mean, like I said, we do deliveries, but not any test drive.
Well, that's actually a good point. I mean, do you guys think that this is more of just a marketing campaign that just sounds good to the consumer? Or do you guys think that this is more of an operations play?
Yeah, I mean, I've told our GM, and it's just like, he's so concerned about, getting the accidents, the liability, safety, like what Brandon was talking about. It's just not anything plus the time. Like I said, we're so spread out in this area. Just the time that we're taking away from salesmen not being at the dealership.
It's true. It does take a significant. See, we're interesting up here. For us, Genesis as a brand, all right, so from an OEM level, has committed to doing at-home test drives. So it's not even a dealership's decision. If you decide to participate with the Genesis brand, it is a requirement. But it's something that the dealers kind of are split 50-50 between, do we keep this? Do we keep doing it? Because right now, in a lot of the Genesis marketing here in Canada, it's a differentiating factor from BMW and Mercedes and those other kind of high level brands that they're trying to compete with.
Is it successful? I mean, is it something that it's getting to the point where, like you said, it's expected, but is it working?
Well, the statistics show that the closing ratio is significantly higher. At least that's what Genesis is saying. But then the dealerships are split. Some are like, this is so much time. And what if that person is 2 hours from my dealership, and then I got 2 hours out, 2 hours back. Like, how do we? Genesis is saying, if they're requesting it, you have to do it.
How are you guys marketing it, or what's it called? Is there a brand?
Genesis actually calls it their at-home test drive. Like, they didn't come up with anything fancy for it at all. It's just like, that's what we're going to call it.
But
is there any lead qualification for that? Sorry. Is there any lead qualification before that happens, before that test drive happens?
The request comes in, all right, a representative does contact and does have a series of questions that they do go through to kind of, confirm the legitimacy or the seriousness of the inquiry. But they still don't say no. And, yes, look, they have had a couple cases where people are just joyriding. But for the most part, all right, the much larger percentage of the people that are participating are very much so interested in this. And you got to understand who they're targeting, right? They're targeting kind of that mid-level executive where time is a pretty big thing. And, I don't necessarily may have the time to come visit you. If you can bring it to me, at least I can then allocate the 20 minutes or the 30 minutes I need to feel the vehicle, test drive the vehicle, and kind of get in touch for it. And then they can kind of complete the remaining part of the transaction remotely.
That makes sense. I mean, because of the target audience, right? And it's all about time for them. So if you're going to provide that quote unquote concierge service, I mean, I think in the long run, I mean, it's an interesting play. But I mean, if we're trying to get people into our quote unquote state of the art dealership, right? I mean, Toyota is the brand for, everyone, the families, the older people. So, at a certain, income, right?
No, for sure.
The demographic 100% makes sense. I'm thinking back to when I was running dealerships. We did more at-home test drives with the Maserati dealership that I ran compared to the Ford and the Kia dealership that we ran. And even to the point where, I don't know if it's very big over there, but in regards to having a demonstrator overnight as a trial. We did more for a vehicle that was $200,000 than what we did for a vehicle that was $30,000. But it's the demographic that you're playing with. But obviously the leads were extremely qualified. It was okay, pending you like the test drive, you're buying it, sort of thing. So yeah, it's interesting, that's for sure.
Well, I mean, that's actually kind of a good point. I mean, look, there is a value or a kind of a perceived value of saving someone time to be able to do that. And yes, maybe with luxury vehicles, that audience maybe connects to that. But I think in general, I think everybody can connect with that idea. And I think maybe with COVID, maybe people are even feeling a little safer than going out, depending on where in the part of the world you're in or what state or country you're in. And that can change as well. I'm trying to figure out, like, is this enough of a differentiating factor in a dealership's marketing and operations to go down that path, to spend all that time, to allocate those labor hours and allocate the time to create those processes? I don't know. I keep going back and forth. Hey guys, a few of you are joining us.
We used to allocate these type of test drives, the at-home ones, to the trainees or a valet who was looking at becoming a trainee, who was extremely well presented. So then that way it was sort of like they're not actually going through the sell. It's really only the test drive, and then the qualification after that is then being done by the salesperson. And then, then there was a commission split at the back end or a bonus for that person doing it.
No, I think that makes total sense. Hey guys, for everyone that's joining the conversation right now, thank you for taking the time to come check out our Automotive Talk, a sit down with the strategy mob. This is a recorded conversation, so please don't say anything that your boss or your mother would not want to hear. I'm just kidding. I don't care what you say. But we're going to be recording now for the next couple hours. We have 4 great topics. We just started with our first conversation of tonight, and that is, should dealerships use at-home test drives to sell cars? I think there's a discussion behind marketing when it comes to this idea, but then there's also an operations discussion. So far, everyone's kind of had some different thoughts and opinions about if this is a good idea or a bad idea. But hey, these conversations are open conversations. Please jump in if you have some thoughts. I'd love to kind of get your guys' opinions on this topic.
I'd love to get Jeff's opinion on that.
Yeah, let's get from this. Jeff, you're selling cars, man. What's up? He's trying to figure out how to turn his mic on.
No, sorry. I was just kind of like going into the room, and then something came up, and I'm just getting back. So I heard my name, but I didn't hear what we're talking about, and I'm so sorry.
No worries. I will take personal offense to it. It's quite all right. No, what's up, Jeff? How you doing, buddy? Hey, thanks for that shout out on LinkedIn, by the way. Congratulations on the 15,000 followers. It's really cool, man.
Thanks.
No, tonight's topic, or the discussion that we're starting right now, is, should dealerships use at-home test drive to sell cars? I think there's both an operations discussion and a marketing discussion that has to happen with this type of strategy. I'm split right now, 50-50. I'm not 100% sure if I'm in or out on the idea, but from a salesperson's perspective, what are your thoughts on should a dealership use at-home test drives to sell cars?
Dude, why aren't we just doing this already anyway? Like, why do we need a pandemic to do things we should have been doing 10 years ago or 15 years ago? Like, I mean, it's not okay. I get logistically it might not work out for every dealership, and for some it might not benefit, but for those it does, or at least try it and see what happens. I don't really think that there's such an added expense. I mean, I guess I can look at the situation we're at right now and here in Ontario, Canada, and as you know, Jason, because obviously you're here as well, but like we're dealing right now with the fact that we can only operate, by appointment only as it is. So, and we have virtually no inventory on our lot. So if there's ever a time to try it now anyways, because what have you got, what have you got to lose? I don't think that there's anything that our OMVIC governing body is saying against allowing at-home test drives, because we can come in and test drive it, right? It's actually a little bit ridiculous, the fact that I can't see family, but I can have two people on a test drive. So now what I've basically done is that if my family wants to see me, just book a test drive and come on in and you can see me. But no, my quick answer to that is just, why are we not already doing it? I don't think we need a pandemic. I don't think we need anything. And again, I'm sure there's people out there that disagree, and maybe it doesn't work, really work in where your area is. But where I am, it's just it's funny that I just think it's something we should have been offering a long time ago, and it's something that now customers are like, oh, you can do that? Well, yeah, we could have done that years ago, but we just never offered it. Told you that was an option. So.
Now, look, Jeff, I'm totally with you. I mean, earlier we were talking a little bit about Genesis as a brand. From an OEM level, it's a mandate. If you're a Genesis retailer, right, you have to offer both at-home test drives and pickup service delivery, pickup at-home delivery for service. So they, as a company, have decided that that's going to be their differentiating message against their competition. I have seen dealers also do something similar to this, but completely fail in the operations of this. So I keep going both ways. Anybody else like to jump in? Any thoughts or opinions?
Jason, one thing that I'd like to point out, the people that are failing at that and implementing that, a lot of the times they come up with the idea, say, you know what, we're going to offer at-home test drives, and then they turn around to their sales guys and they're like, you're going to be doing at-home test drives from going forward. And there's no guidance. It's like, we got this really great idea. We're going to implement it. It's up to you to figure it out and squeeze it into your schedule. By the way, we fired a delivery specialist.
Marco, it sounds like you may have done this once before. No, but though I'm with you on that. That's actually a really good point. Look, a good idea is only as good as how well we can actually execute it.
I would say, Marco, I'm thinking on the head. We're an industry full of great ideas, but lost for execution.
So true.
All the industries that I'm thinking of that, especially during COVID. So let's just think COVID. What's his name? GM Jeff, where he said, why not during COVID? Here's a prime opportunity to figure things out. We should have been doing this before. COVID presents an opportunity to do things differently. Why not? And I'm thinking of other industries as a consumer that I come into contact with that have changed. I can think over the last year. So, pre-COVID, you can get Grubhub, you can get Uber Eats, and it's all of a sudden become more convenient. I get nonstop notifications about, hey, make sure you come back and order from us. I'm like, hey, that is a little bit more convenient. And the fact that you're offering me 15% off or free delivery, why wouldn't I just make that the way that I shop anyways?
Exactly.
And, you can go to, even more so, I think over the last year, you have grocery stores offering the same thing. You can go to Target, these pickup stations where you don't even have to go in. You just drive there and they bring it out to your car. So this convenience of what COVID has brought to the table as far as what customers may be looking for, it just seems like auto is so quick to maybe say, maybe that's not for us. maybe that's not what our customers want. When every other way that the consumer is interacting with businesses, it's screaming that. It's screaming, this is how I want to interact with you. And although it may be a struggle for the business to adapt marketing-wise, which I think is much less of a challenge than maybe operational-wise, because I understand when I pull into Target, they prefer me to say, hey, I'm driving to your Target. Hey, I've arrived at your Target. Hey, by the way, this is the vehicle that I am in at your Target pickup location. And they've adapted the app so much over the last year where now it's almost like programmed. What kind of car? Where do you want the thing to be delivered in your car? That in auto, we're so hesitant to say, well, are you sure you want me to bring the car to you to test drive? And it's like, well, yeah, duh.
No, that's actually a really good point. I mean, I'd love to kind of hear everyone else's kind of thoughts on this. I mean, and I think you bring up a really, really good point in the sense that has the consumer just evolved to a place where the expectation of convenience when engaging with a company like a car dealership is that's almost like that's the new expectation. Like if my grocery store can do it, why the hell can't my dealership do it?
And really quick before you do that, I'll tell you this.
Mm-hmm.
I live in between two different chain grocery stores, right? I'm smack dab in the middle. And one grocery store offered that ability to pick up, and one didn't. They just offered it about 2 months ago. Well, we would drive to the one that offered us the ability to pick up groceries, and they put them in the back of our car. And we figured out a way, in the app to change our location just so that way they knew that we wanted that location of the grocery store to give it to us. So it's so much of a convenience that customers are figuring a way around it, and they're smarter than we think. So if they want that, they're going to get it.
Well, convenience is a currency, right? The ease of everything being as convenient as possible. We actually did a comparison the other day. We were ordering lunch for the dealership, and we had looked at McDonald's actually, and the double cheeseburger on, I can't remember which one it was. Anyways, I think it was $3.09 through this app, and if you called the store, it was $2.69. So there's this premium just for this ease of convenience that most people won't even notice. So when they offer you these 10% off discounts, but it's marked up 30%.
That's a good
winning,
point,
right?
Brandon.
So
did you pay for the extra convenience?
We did not. We were very cheap.
Of course you are. You're a car salesman. But no, I actually look. I'm 100% with you. I mean, my local dealership called me and told me that my Nissan Armada was due for service, and I said, oh, "Okay, that's cool. I'm kind of slammed right now." Well, they're like, "Well, we can actually come pick it up for you, service it, and bring it back. It's only an extra $35." I was like, "Okay, that's cool. When do you want to pick it up?" Sitting outside.
Yeah, I mean, he's not here, but Brian Benstock, he would be big on this whole the at-home test drive and the making everything as convenient and easy as possible for your customers. That's the future of automotive. That's the next wave of what customers are going to be looking for. No one's going to want to come in and negotiate for a few hours if it can be made easier for you in any way whatsoever. That's what customers want. Customers want easy and they want convenient. And at-home test drive, I think, is both of those.
100%. Anybody else like to add something to that?
I think we're looking at this from a little bit of a wrong perspective, right? You're going to have those customers. You're going to have those customers that want to come in. You're going to have those customers that maybe want to do an at-home test drive. You're going to have those customers that want to do the DR tool on the website. They're going to have some of those customers are going to do half of it online, half of it in the store. The thing we're not saying is that you have to offer every way a customer would want to interact, whether it's online, offline, at their home, at the dealership. It doesn't matter. It's whichever way that they want to interact. And that's the reason us not adapting like this already is the reason why you see companies like Vroom and other companies like that coming to the marketplace, because we fell behind the times and we didn't innovate and we didn't come up with that kind of stuff.
Brad, do you feel like that is the customer's new expectation, that we have options Like, do you feel like a customer would almost be surprised if we did not have it as an option?
No. I think it's not an expectation, but I think that you're going to constantly hear, like, I'll give you an example. Okay, this is a little contrived, but this will be an example. Okay, when you go to Amazon or you go to Nike or you go to anywhere to shop, what's the first thing it asks you to do when you make a purchase? It says, "Hey, sign in with Google or Facebook to make a purchase." Right?
Yep.
You can sign in with Google or Facebook single. We don't have that in automotive.
It's true. Good point.
We're the only major e-commerce industry that doesn't have a single sign-on authentication. So when I say that we're behind the times, we don't put emphasis on convenience until there's a competitor that arises, like a Vroom, like a Carvana, like a CarMax. We don't put emphasis on that until we're forced to, which is a sad thing to say about the automotive industry. We really have to start looking at this a lot faster.
That's a really good point. Thanks, Brad.
Right, and even then we're hesitant on even competing with what they offer if it doesn't make sense for us operationally, because we don't want to send someone 2 hours away and 2 hours back for a test drive if they're not going to buy.
Isn't that funny, though?
And that was...
Go ahead.
Yeah.
No, Brian, go ahead.
No, okay, so that what John said and what Brad talked about, I was all in with, the delivery. I mean, I have 3 commercials talking about we'll take your car to you, but obviously after you buy it, right? I mean, you will do everything before, but yeah, the inconvenience for the dealership, but the convenience for the customer for the test drive. And, you show up to somebody's house and they're like, yeah, no thanks. And then what is the salesperson going to take that as a loss, and then going to come back with the information to the GM or to the sales manager, be like, oh, yeah, let's be realistic. Oh, what a waste of time. We're not going to do that again, or let's discourage that. And that's to what Brad's saying. You got all these competitors coming in that, chomping at the bit to take advantage of these things, and it's imminent.
That is very true.
And I think you have to set up some parameters. Like, you're probably not going to take a car 2 hours, right? You probably have to set up a mileage around the dealership so that it's within a certain, something that makes sense, right? Because you still have to look at, how much time it's going to take versus how much you're going to make off of that deal, right? So there's some things you have to take in consideration. I'll give you another example, though. I don't know if you've seen this new auto repair facilities called Speedy. I've
heard about it, yeah.
They're putting cameras in every single bay when they're working on people's cars. And so you can sit there and watch your car get worked on. It's insane. And so they're bringing that level of transparency on the service side. So what is that? That's gonna start to become a major conversation within the next year or two, because that level of transparency is going to independent auto repair facilities. So we're getting attacked from both sides. We just have to look at this convenience thing on all sides of the dealership and take it really seriously, I think.
You know what? I had the same conversation with a dealer client the other day, and we used the 2 hour number. So it's kind of funny that we're using that right now. But I loved his approach, because he's like, look, if I got a customer willing to take a test drive, all right, and I got to pay someone 2 hours to out and 2 hours back, all right, that cost of acquisition is still way freaking cheaper, all right, than what I'm currently paying for something else right now. So it's like we love to kind of put things in our heads and kind of move things around. He's like, look, if I got to send someone out there at minimum wage, for 4 hours to get this done for a much higher probability of being able to get a deal, I'm going to do it.
Well, then now it becomes word of mouth. Oh my God, this dealership actually came to me. So
that's a good point too.
You are investing.
What's that worth?
You are investing it exactly, and then that starts spreading.
Now what you do is you send Brian out there to shoot the video as he's going out there.
Yeah, there you go.
Give that test drive. Yeah. And he shoot video about this road trip to go
shoot a couple birds with one stone.
And us getting in an accident. Yeah.
Yeah. See, that's what you do.
No, guys. Hey, look, I think you guys all bring some really great insights and thoughts on our topic of should dealerships use at-home test drives to sell cars.
Thanks for tuning in to Mob Talk. Feel free to like, follow, comment, or get a hold of me with any ideas for new content on future shows. Be sure to check out more amazing automotive content from our Strategy Mob captains and crew at strategymob.com.